Hello everyone, my name is Amy and I am the Black Cat Stitcher here on YouTube and on Instagram. And this is my Flosstube channel where I talk about all of my crafting, mostly knitting and cross stitch. And this is my monthly end of August update. Life here in my new home has been very busy and hectic, but it's all looking good. Just a recap, last video I said I ended up moving from Wyoming to Minnesota, and that I was, I guess, currently in an apartment here in Minnesota, but was house hunting for my first ever home that I was planning on purchasing. And that went a whole lot easier and quicker than I thought. Literally, gosh, I took a day off on Friday to, meet with the realtor and, talk with her about, what I wanted in a house and what I was looking for. And then that Saturday, I went on 2 house tours and made an offer on one and got the house like by the end of that week. It just has been a whirlwind, let me tell you. But I'm still living in my apartment, but by the end of this month, I'll be moving again. So unfortunately, my end of September Flosstube update might be delayed, and perhaps it'll be a mid-October update. But yeah, because I'll be in the middle of moving at the end of September and beginning of October. So at least it's not as far as Wyoming. It's within the same town. Thank God. But anyway, cross stitch. Now we can get in from the life update to what I've been working on this past month. And to be honest, I haven't really been keeping great track of the things that I've, been working on. But hopefully I've gathered all of the things. So anywho, let's start with this one. This is Ink Circles, Elemental Dragons, Earth. And I am doing this on fabric that I dyed myself. And I am using a variegated floss. I'm super prepared, as you can see. Ethiopia by Karen Water Lilies by Karen is the floss that I am using. Gosh, I'm tangled in and everything. I need to get my act together. Okay. So anyway, I'll pop up a photograph of what it looked like when I started working on this project and make sure I've got it right side up. Yes. And here is where I'm at now. Now, I had a little bit of a snafu with this one. I was working across the top here, and I was working over this way to complete this dragon here. And then once I had completed this entire dragon, I realized that it was like it was this dragon right here. This dragon was 1 or 2 stitches too high, and that is the only thing that I could see on the dragon. So I unstitched this whole entire dragon and restitched it. And then I came down here and worked a little bit on these dragons as well. And I'm getting pretty close to completion on this one. I just have to finish these dragons and then the other 2 dragons down here in the corner, and then to do these motifs here that are like this, that are sticking up between the 2 dragons. So I'm getting there. But once I'm done with that, I'm going to start with the other elemental dragons from Ink Circles. And I talked about it in my previous thing, but I didn't have any of the, I guess, fabrics present. This is Witch's Brew by Vintage Needle Arts. And I've chosen the floss because I took a pilgrimage to Stitchville, USA, and picked out some Karen water lilies to go with this. But yeah, I'm going to be using, I guess, similar colors. So this is Cucumber by Karen Water Lilies. And it's going to go with Witch's Brew. And my next, I guess, fabric for one of the elemental dragons is going to be this. It is Mystic Falls by Witch's Garden Crafts. And I'm going to be using this floss. It is, whoops, I'm losing Hudson Bay by Karen Water Lilies. And I like this. She put a little key charm with her, fabric tag. It's cute. And then this one I'm very unsure about. But I can circle back and revisit later. But for now, this is what I'm going with. But this is the fabric. It is, let me get the fabric tag. Oh, well, I guess the fabric tag doesn't tell me what the dye lot is called. But yeah, it's this, and it's from, gosh, I should have kept the shipping bag, but yeah, the card that she says she sent me doesn't have any information on it. So I'll have to figure out what it is, but it's 18 count something or other. And I'm going to be using this floss, which is pretty much, it looks on camera to be the exact color of the fabric, but it is a little bit darker, which is why I'm unsure that it might just kind of blend in. But this is Calabasa by Karen Water Lilies. So this floss I might be changing to something that'll show up better. I'm going to experiment, I suppose, and see if it'll work or not. But anyway, also, my next project that I worked on is this project. This is QS Grace Faces by Josephine Wall, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And this was a whip go call, and it was called to do 1,000 stitches. And this is where I'm at. I probably should have popped in it before, and I'll do it here-ish. So yeah, I brought it down a little bit farther, and I'm continuing making my scaffolding for my confetti hell. And the last project that I worked on in terms of cross-stitching was the one that I worked on the most, and it is this project. This is Crown Imperial, based off an illustration by Mary Golay, and it is charted by Whoopicat on Etsy. And here it'll insert a picture if I have one, because I'm not sure if I was that prepared. If I have one, this is where I was previously, and this is where I'm at now. So I'm almost about ready to move my Q-snap. I have to finish filling in some of the green here and here and here. And then there's, oh, and here I guess there's some green. And then this blank space around is just gonna be stitched in with B 5200. And then I'll move the Q-snap over and complete the other side of the border, this thing over here, and then move it down to get to the real juicy part, the stalk of the of the flower, which I'm being extremely sarcastic with that. Basically, with the completion of the flower all the way at the top, the fun part is already over. No, I'm kidding. It'll still be fun, but it's gonna be a lot of greens and browns and beiges. So yeah, that's all I have for cross stitching. This will be kind of a short little update. Before I go into knitting, I'll talk a little bit about my plans for my cross stitching. Obviously, I'm going to keep working on my focus piece, which is the Crown Imperial that I just showed you. And then my second Whip Go call for the month of September was embroidery. It is I didn't bring it out with me, it's packed away, but I was embroidering a pillowcase that my aunt had bought the kit for me on Amazon, and it bores me, and I'm having a hard time, I suppose, finding the motivation, I guess is the word, to pick that up and start working on that goal. So I am contemplating, I guess, ending it where it's at, because the pillowcase, I wasn't planning on doing the second pillowcase. I was just planning on doing the first pillowcase and calling it a day. And then I wasn't planning on making it a pillowcase. I was planning on cutting it out maybe and making it, I don't know, a smaller, like, long pillow. So if I'm cutting out the fabric and I'm adding, some colorful fabric to make it, a pillow, I might be able to, just make it shorter. So I think I'm just going to potentially end it where it is, because I only have one more butterfly left to embroider on the first pillowcase, or two more butterflies. But I think, I don't know, I'm struggling, I guess, with my brain, because I promised myself I'd finish at least the first pillowcase before moving on to a new project, but yeah, I'm struggling. But one thought that I had, I guess, in terms of potential plans to start is to I have the pattern for the Twisted Band Sampler by Northern Needlework Expressions, I think it's called, with the specialty stitch version. So the only thing that I need to start that is to buy some fabric. And I don't know, I'm highly considering saying that my butterfly pillowcase is finished and starting the Twisted Band Sampler instead. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know your opinion on what I should do. And yeah, the other thing that I have as a goal in September is I'm participating in Stitch for Pride 2023, put on by D's 20 Stitches. And the prompt for the stitching part of the challenge is to work on a project that you're working on with a friend or is a part of a SAL. Now, I don't generally participate in SALs. I do have a project that I'm currently working on that is or was a SAL for 2022. The Move Forward in Love pattern by, gosh, I'm blank, Modern Folk and Embroidery. How could I forget that? And it was a SAL for Pride June 2022. But I don't believe that is currently a Sal. So I might pull that out and work on that a little bit as well next month. But I also might not, because I'm really enjoying working on my Crown Imperial currently, because I'm just so close to a milestone of moving the Q-snap. So I want to keep working on that one, and it's hard for me to do a different project at this moment. So yeah, those are my plans for cross stitching. And now we're going to move into my knitting progress. I only have one knitting project, and it is the Rock and Roll blanket by, I don't remember who it's by. That's terribly awful. But anyway, here is where I am at. I've got it folded in half, mostly. But I've made quite a bit of progress since you last saw it. I believe, where was I? I think this was where I was at. Yeah, my marker. I added all of this green since the last time you've seen this project, which I do admit has been many months since I didn't film for quite a bit of time. Oops, I got a needle stuck in it. But I don't know exactly how much progress I'm going to be getting, in the near future. Because the way that I did this when I lived in Wyoming was that I had it in my one of the desk drawers at work, and I would just, pull it out. I would get to work early and pull it out and stitch on it for however long, I had until, work began officially at 8 a.m. But, it doesn't really fit into my schedule like that here in my new job in Minnesota, which I'm enjoying immensely. It's just, I guess my workflow is, very different compared to what it was in Wyoming. So I'm no longer, bringing this to work with me and working at it from my desk. And I don't know, I still kind of have the goal of working on it and finishing at least one stripe per month. But I don't know. I haven't found, I guess, a way to fit it into my schedule, because what I prefer is working on cross stitch. I do find knitting very relaxing, but if I had to choose between the crafts, I would choose cross stitching. It just keeps my mind a little bit more engaged, I think, than knitting does. But yeah, I will figure it out. And I'll be moving soon, so I'm not going to figure it out this month, I don't think. But I will figure out a way to work knitting into my rotation again and make some progress on the blanket, because I don't know, I like this blanket, but I want to knit my own adventure and buy some wonderfully delicious Forbidden Fiber Company yarns and make my own massive king-sized blanket. That's the goal. I want to start that project. But I want to finish this one first. So yeah, that is my dilemma, I guess, with knitting. So I guess another thing that you can share in the comments down below is if you are a multi-craftual person, how do you make sure that you, I guess, are working on all of your crafts, rather than, you know, monotonously working on a singular craft all the time. But anywho, I think that's all I have to talk about. Be a rather short episode today. But yeah, I will see you guys hopefully at the end of September, but probably not. And I will hopefully actually film in the middle of October once I'm fully moved into my new digs. And maybe I'll even do a house tour if it's in a state at that point to, you know, be shown off, because it could be that it's Chaos Moving Box Central for a bit, or just completely empty, because honestly I'm upgrading in size of living space as well as you know, owning my first home, because yeah, I have very scarce amount of furniture in my apartment currently, but I will remedy that over the years and fill my new space, because I plan to be there for a very, very long time. But anyway, have a good rest of September, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.